accident.
In Oxford can shed any light on where she might have gone.
This was a real-life Inspector Morse. Unfortunately, the fabled detective wasn't in hand to solve it.
For 3 weeks, everybody in the country wanted to know what had happened to this young woman.
The case is now dominating the front page and many of the editorial discussions of the university newspaper Charwell.
We all knew it was a game. The police knew it was a game, the press knew it was a game. I think the only person that wasn't aware that it was a game was John Tanner.
And when I came back on the Sunday, I received a note saying I had to call Rachel's mother, saying she was missing.
I love you, and I love the way you love me. Face it, it's a life sentence.
Dragging all this shit from the station. Where's a bloody man when you need one?
We got a call in April basically telling us that an Oxford University student, Rachel McLean, had gone missing.
Rachel McLean had arrived back in Oxford after the Easter holidays and spent the weekend with her boyfriend. But when her college exams started 5 days later, she failed to turn up.
At first, nobody really thought anything was dreadfully amiss. Rachel was 19, a fun girl, very strong-minded, confident young woman. And she'd come from Blackpool. She'd worked hard and she'd got to Oxford.
She was very popular with her tutors, very popular with her fellow students. She was mad on heavy metal, and she had a boyfriend, John Tanner.
John was one of the most charismatic people I've ever met in my life. He was outgoing, affable, extrovert, humorous. In some ways, he's the kind of person a lot of men would love to aspire to be. He seemed to have it all.
John was from New Zealand, very sociable individual, like most Kiwis are. I always remember he used to have a big kind of posse of women, and yeah, like most people, enjoying having a good time being a student at university.
Hi, Helen. Is Rachel around? All right, Helen, thanks, Helen. Hey, listen, you won't forget. No, I know. Okay, bye.
Get hold of her yet?
No, not yet.
She's probably still in the library.
Yeah.
She'll phone you tonight, I bet.
University student Rachel McLean has been missing for 5 days. Her college principal, Elizabeth Llewellyn, raised the alarm when she failed to turn up to sit exams.
Please phone. If you want to be on your own and you want to be private, that's fine. But please just let everybody know that you're safe. Because so many people are concerned.
My dearest darling Rachel, I've tried calling you all week, but I guess you're working. A call would be appreciated. Being without you is a terrible burden to bear. Please write or call soon.
I love you, Rachel, now and forever. I miss you, love. You're John.
Rachel always had regular contact with her family, and for a week she hadn't shown up at university and she hadn't spoken to her parents. Those two things in themselves were very, very unusual for Rachel. The first indications were this was more than just a normal missing person inquiry.
Hello.
Hello, Oxford Police. We've come about Rachel.
Oh, sure, right, yeah, come in.
Well, if we just have a little look around Rachel's room first.
When you've got a report of a missing person, you do an initial search at the house, just to see if there are any signs, any indication where the person may have gone. Basically what you're doing is to see if there's any trace of Rachel or any of her belongings.
When Rachel McLean disappeared, it was not a typical disappearance. Normally when people go missing, for whatever reason, there are things that they take with them. They take their house keys. No one walks out the house with the clothes they stand up in, and yet this was what Rachel McLean had apparently done. So, almost from the word go, the police were up against a baffling occurrence.
So, you know, we just need to learn a little bit more about Rachel's lifestyle. It's just really if there's anything that seems a bit weird to you.
No, there's nothing
Anything
really.
unusual? Do you think she might have been upset about anything, that sort of
Well,
thing?
I mean, there's exams coming up, but...
Yeah, but she's never that stressed, is she?
No.
Right, okay, sure. Okay. And what about men then? Does she have a boyfriend?
Oh, yeah, John. He's at Nottingham.
You've been together long?
Oh, I suppose they've been seeing each other really
About
since...
8 months now, I think it is. Yeah, last August it was, Rachel's birthday.
Yeah, that's when they met.
So it's quite serious, is it?
Oh, totally. Every weekend, either Rachel's in Nottingham or John's down here, so...
Not that we see much of him.
No?
No, I mean, they're completely mad on each other. She has him holed up in her room all weekend, so...
We always say it's like Rach keeps him locked up in there, you know, and they only come out when they're totally starving.
She met John Tanner in Blackpool some 8 months previously. It was her birthday. He was working casually locally as a barman. They bumped into each other. She invited him to her 19th birthday party and they hit it off right away.
I love you, Rachel McLean. I do.
I love you too.
John and Rachel were a young couple very much in love. They were at different universities but used to phone each other, write letters, they saw each other in the holidays, and it was a very passionate affair.
That was pretty ugly.
They have this perfectly normal relationship, and Rachel's got everything in front of her. John Tanner himself has a smashing future to look forward to. And then the nature of these two people, star-crossed lovers if you like, put together, ensures that neither of them will have any future whatsoever within a very short time of meeting each other.
In 1990, after the summer holidays, Rachel and John were both back at university and trying to maintain the intensity of their relationship.
October 1990. I love you, and I love the way you love me. Face it, it's a life sentence. 13th of November 1990. Dear John, this is the paper I told you about. Sexy, eh? I'm sat in my underwear with the fire on. Just kidding. I'm missing you desperately already. I guess it's so different from anything I've ever felt before. I don't want anything or anyone else. I just want you.
But living in Nottingham, John was becoming increasingly threatened by Rachel's separate life in Oxford.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Oh, hi, John.
Is she around?
You just missed her.
Oh, just now?
Yeah, about 10 minutes ago.
Just, you don't remember who she was seeing, do you?
To be honest, I haven't a clue, John. Hey, Anna, who was Rachel with? Do you remember? No idea, John.
Sure. Listen, you don't remember what she was wearing, do you? That blue skirt, was it?
To be honest, John, I haven't a clue. I think she was wearing her jeans. She might have put on that pink top. Look, I haven't seen her around and we don't know who she went with. Do you want to leave a message?
Yeah, say I called and tell her she can call me as soon as she gets in tonight, whenever, whatever time. Just, she must call me.
Sure, I'll leave her a note.
On her door.
I'll be up late.
Yeah, sure. She'll call you whenever. Bye.
John Tanner was a good-looking guy. He was intelligent, he was bright, he was funny, he was witty, he was clever. He was the perfect boyfriend, really, apart from his one glaring fault, his compulsive jealousy.
Rach?
Will you just listen to me? What do I have to do, John? Why does it matter so much who I was with? Sick of all this eating away at us. It's spoiling everything. If you don't trust me, what am I supposed to do? Do you want me to stay in? Or do you want to lock me up, never even to look at a man? Well, would that make you happy? Would it? Well, would it? Right, well, I guess that's it then. There's just no point, is there? John, we can't go on like this. Arguing every night on the phone.
John wants to have Rachel, the whole item, and share her with nothing and nobody. And quite understandably, Rachel found this claustrophobic and increasingly sees him less of a fine, strong boy to have as a lover, but more of somebody who's becoming annoying, intrusive, overly dependent, and then we quickly get into a vicious spiral downwards.
To my one and only John. To the man who has made me feel like a woman once more. Who lights my fire and who burns with me. Who takes me to the places of which I'd only dreamed. You will always be my Valentine. Just finished writing John's Valentine's card. Shoveling out rubbish from a fire which has dried and cracked within me. Somehow I don't think he would have appreciated sweet nothings along the lines of, "You sick, childish bastard." I hope your romance, with yourself, lasts forever and ever.
Rachel McLean was last seen 8 days ago. Police are talking to friends at St Hilda's College and throughout the country in an effort to pick up some trail. But they can't understand why, if nothing has happened to Rachel, she hasn't responded to the general concern for her well-being.
This came for Rach on Wednesday. Her mum asked me to open it. It's from John.
My dearest, lovely Rachel, thank you for such a wonderful weekend. Please excuse the handwriting as I'm now sadly wending my way away from your smiling face.
I love you, Rachel. Can you believe that? Still, at least you won't be lonely. Had you seen that friend of yours at the station? It's nice of him to give you a lift.
The moment the police saw that, the alarm bell started ringing.
The story about her going off with a stranger and everything just didn't add up. It didn't go with the impression that we got that he was a very jealous person.
Now, this jealous, obsessive man writes a letter in which he clearly says that a man that he's never met before, a man that he doesn't know, he's quite happy for Rachel to have as a friend to go off with. That's fine by him. Well, it's a little surprise that to the police this didn't add up.
Hello, John. Oxford CID. We're here to get that witness statement from you, if now's a good time.
Oh, yeah, sure. Sure, come in.
Shouldn't take too long.
On Monday the 15th, I woke up at about midday. Rachel had got up without waking me and I found her studying. During the afternoon, we made love. After this, I had a shower and got packed ready to go back to Nottingham. We left the house at about 4:15 and caught the bus to the railway station. Rachel saw a friend of hers in the cafe, then at 6:20 we embraced each other on the platform and kissed goodbye. I got on the train back to Nottingham.
Everything was oiled, everything fitted perfectly from John Tanner's point of view. What could have been more convenient than a mystery man who looks exactly like him, don't forget, turns up, and Rachel goes off with him, is never seen again.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, you? Yeah, just around here. Yeah.
The police could see in this that he was actually starting to build up a possible alibi. And that immediately put the finger of suspicion to him. So they basically assigned two people to be his, in quotes, mates, close quotes, to say that they'd keep in touch with him while everything was going on.
OK, gentlemen, 2 teas, 2 sugars.
Great. Got some biscuits there.
There you go.
I'm all right for now, thanks. John basically treated them as friends, but these police were just watching him all the time, just seeing what he was up to, what his reactions were. They were analysing his body language, seeing who he met, seeing who he was close to. And it was an easy way of doing it.
2, please.
It kept John thinking that he was above suspicion. It was all part of a game to him, but he didn't realise that he was the centrepiece in it.
Police picked through the undergrowth on waste ground near Rachel McLean's Argyle Street home in Oxford today. The English student has still not been in touch with anybody since seeing her boyfriend off on a train from the city railway station 9 days ago.
John! John! Oh, beauty!
We had a number of calls from friends of John Tanner's or people that knew John Tanner who were quite concerned about his behaviour when he returned to Nottingham University. He was carrying on life as usual.
I do remember mounting media pressure, primarily driven by the tabloids, including journalists kind of doorstepping John on campus, chasing friends.
There's definitely a strong perception within the university community that the press were actually trying to fit the evidence around the person they didn't like, the scruffy, long-haired student.
Denise Hogg today. Can I have a word, please?
Go away.
Mr. Tanner? There?
can't do this. They can't do this to me.
That's it. Go on, piss off! You're trespassing! Get lost, will you?
I can't handle this. I can't.
Come on, mate. It'll be all right. You'll get through it. You will. Just ignore them. All right?
After 2 weeks, Tanner was the only suspect in Rachel's disappearance, but there still wasn't a shred of evidence against him. Could the police exploit media attention to break his composure?
We had a very good working relationship with the senior officers on the case. They were playing, basically, with John Tanner, good cop, good cop. What they wanted to do was a variation on that, the good cop, bad cop, but they didn't want to be seen as the bad cop. So what they decided to do was play good cop, bad journalist.
Ready, John?
Yep. Involving the media, to most people, is actually quite a traumatic event. And there's always a chance that they'll slip up, may say something untoward, because they'll be off their guard, they'll be in an unusual situation, they're in circumstances that people aren't used to being in.
They wanted us to put certain questions to John Tanner that they didn't want to put themselves.
It was asked, well, shall we just ask the straight question? I said, yeah, go ahead, ask the question, did you kill Rachel?
You okay?
Yeah. Let's go.
Well, I would just like to say that she can contact anybody she wants. Myself, she knows where to get hold of me, her mother and father, more importantly. But if she doesn't feel like contacting them for any reason, the police will put her in confidence if she just calls them to a police station.
The reason Tanner has agreed to do the conference was that it was potentially in his interest. He has the opportunity to present as the injured party, and that's his big danger. The public and the tabloid newspapers who are beginning to see through this and beginning to think this just ain't right here.
Outgoing, very friendly, a lover of life, definitely, with everything to go forward for her.
Most people who've lost someone dear to them are on the point of tears. They're appealing desperately for help. John Tanner was completely different. There was no emotion at all.
My friends are going through a series of university examinations at the moment.
Most people were behind John until the press conference, and when he was giving the press conference on TV, people just had second thoughts about what he was saying. And I thought, do I know this person?
She did a lot of things which I wasn't happy about.
The key question was held back for the end of the press conference.
All eyes shot to the front at that time, because it wasn't just the answer that you wanted to look at his eyes, you wanted to look at his face, at his reaction.
You're not aware of anything that's sinister that's happened to Rachel that involved yourself?
Not at all, no, not to my knowledge.
As far as you're concerned, you're quite clear in your mind that you went on the train and that was it, and you don't know anything more about it?
Absolutely.
But what did we see? He has a quick smirk. A quick smirk. You don't do that. If you are really the wrong injured party in this, you'd be outraged that someone was suggesting that you had anything to do with it.
In your heart of hearts, do you think that Rachel's still alive?
In my heart of hearts, I like to think so.
Detective Superintendent John Bound knew exactly what he was doing. He basically told us that he was giving John Tanner enough rope to hang himself.
It all pointed to the fact that John Tanner was lying and he was guilty, but the frustration was they didn't have a body, so he was guilty of what?
John Tanner had apparently survived his trial by media. But was his willingness to cooperate about to backfire?
Rachel McLean's boyfriend, John Tanner, is playing himself in this reenactment at Oxford railway station tonight. The only difference between now and the last time he was here a fortnight ago, the woman with him is not Rachel. She's a WPC.
The police decided they were going to stage a reconstruction according to the testimony of John Tanner. Now, he told them that they travelled together to Oxford train station. She met a man who became known as the long-haired stranger. The police wanted to see if anyone remembered seeing this couple and if there were witnesses to come forward to verify what John Tanner had said.
He saw it as an opportunity to put himself as the cooperative boyfriend who was anxious to be able to help in any way he could, but notice the arrogance that he thought that, you know, old Plod would be too stupid not to see this.
Maybe it was his confidence and his arrogance that convinced him, yeah, who's going to notice this? Who's going to remember this?
I'd switched the television on for the reconstruction after, I think it was after the 10 o'clock news or something. And to my amazement, I recognised the man as the person who'd sat next to me in Oxford Station. He was agitated and seemed to be shuffling a lot and going in and out of a bag which was on the floor next to him. He brought out a pad with thin paper and lines on it, a small pad, and was writing in black ink.
My dearest, lovely Rachel, thank you for such a wonderful weekend. Please excuse the handwriting as I'm now sadly wending my way away from your smiling face. Still, at least you won't be lonely. Had you seen that friend of yours at the station? It's nice of him to give you a lift. God, this train is bumpy.
Tanner had said he'd written the letter on the train. In fact, he'd written it on the station. And thankfully that witness had spotted that.
That was the start of John Tanner's downfall.
The other hole in John Tanner's story came with the bus ticket. He claimed that he bought 2 tickets, paid 2 fares, and that 2 people had got on at the bus.
All tickets that are issued, there's actually a computer record about what stop, how many people got on, what they paid, where they went. And where Tanner got on, allegedly with Rachel, only 1 ticket was issued.
That guy was giving you the eye all night.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
No, he
I can tell.
Don't.
You love me, Rach?
Of course I love you. Now, come on, let's get home to bed. John, what are you... Come on, get up.
No, Sharon. Listen, Rach, listen. I love you more than anything. Can't help it.
Yeah, I know, and I know. We're freezing here, so let's go.
No, listen, Rachel. There's something I've been thinking. It's important. Listen to me, Rach. Let's get married.
What?
We'll be together. Everything will be sorted. We wouldn't worry, wouldn't fight anymore.
Come on, John, please, let's go. I'm freezing.
It's so perfect. Just think, Rach. We'd never need to be apart again. It'd be us. Just us, like we want it. Just us. We'd never need to bother about anyone else. Marry me, Rach.
John...
If you love me, you say yes.
Of course I love you, sweetheart. I'm freezing and we really don't have to talk about this now.
We do. It's a simple question. Just say yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, then.
Will I marry him? Will I let this carry on because I can't be bothered to stop it? I sometimes think dark thoughts. I can see through his soul as one sees through a dirty window.
Rachel McLean's boyfriend, John Tanner, declined to talk to the press at his home in Nottingham this afternoon.
The missing girl's boyfriend rejected newspaper stories hinting he might have had something to do with her disappearance.
The police had already trawled the usual places, sent in the frogmen, looked in the various rivers. But they knew to have a murder, you have to have a body. They were convinced that she was dead. The question was, where was the corpse?
And it's this point then you think, where is it? It's got to be the house. And this is when plans of the house were sought, looked at, compared with other similar terraced houses. And then it was realised there was this airspace below the floor. And then further searches were made to find access.
Hello, Anna.
Hello.
Just come for another look around.
Okay, well, where this time?
If we can just check out downstairs.
Okay, I'll be upstairs. Keep out of your way.
Okay, thanks.
Gonna break?
Yeah, go on then. Sorry, was that a foul?
No.
That was a foul.
Right then. Black going in? Who's winning, man? I think you'll find that's me.
Hi, John.
Hi, guys. You all right? You joining us?
Not this time. Can we have a quick word?
Sure, sure.
I'll just go outside, a bit more private.
Right.
We were just talking in the back of the car.
So how's things?
Unfortunately, John, I've got some bad news. We found Rachel's body. As a result of this, I'm now going to arrest you on suspicion of her murder. John Mark Tanner, I'm arresting you for the murder of Rachel McLean. You don't have to say anything, but anything you do say may be taken down and used in evidence against you.
So she's dead, is she?
A 22-year-old man is being asked about the disappearance of Rachel McLean. After more than 2 weeks without clues to her whereabouts, police stripped the house she lived in. A woman's body was found lying hidden under floorboards in a downstairs room, a body which police now believe to be that of Rachel McLean.
In hindsight, and hindsight's a wonderful thing, the police would have wished they'd ripped those floorboards up probably 10 days earlier. But if Oxford Police went in and ripped up all the floorboards of every student that disappeared, there'd be no officers on the beat and there'd be no houses left for anyone to live in.
Is it true that you came to Oxford purposefully to murder Rachel? Is it true that you picked your time and occasion to come here knowing she was alone, knowing that you'd be safe?
John, get it out, man. Talk about it. Talk about anything. Talk about football, New Zealand, but talk. Say something. Don't let us think you're that hard, that cold, because you can't be. No one can. No one can love someone as much as you loved Rachel and not be affected by what you've done to her.
The police start interviewing him and he says nothing. And so they go away and they leave him alone for a little while. When they come back and they interview him again, and still he says nothing.
Is it right that you watched and waited for a particular time that was right and then cold-bloodedly murdered her? How did you cope knowing how you'd left her, John? You were the only person in the world that knew where she was. Did that worry you at all? Or did you get some sort of pleasure out of that part of it? She was under the floorboards, John, wasn't she? She was alone, wasn't she? Someone that you loved intensely. You panicked, you didn't know what to do. Must have been eating you inside out.
Look, please stop. I want to, I need to speak to my solicitor alone.
No way will he say a word. And then suddenly the tears. Those tears were for him. Tears that the game is up. There is no exit.
It had been okay up till then, no arguments. I was watching football, Rachel was studying in the kitchen.
John?
What?
No, it's nothing. Nothing, it doesn't matter. How was the match?
Yeah, great.
Thanks, babe. What?
Don't. Please, not now, John.
What? Not now? What is it with you
Just
today?
don't, okay?
No, not okay. This is not okay. You can't stand me near you. Can't stand me touching you. Can you? What's going on, Rachel?
Do you know, Rachel, my love, sometimes I don't have a fucking clue what goes on inside your pretty little head. Am I just being paranoid and you actually hate me?
John, can you turn that down a minute, please? Let's just sit down for a second. Let's just sit, can we? There's something I need to tell you. It's over, John. I've been seeing somebody else.
She said she wanted to give me a reason why she wasn't going to get engaged. And then I think she said she'd slept with other men.
Rachel, is that what you're saying? You're telling me you're a whore? That's what you are.
Don't you dare talk to me like that!
whore.
Don't you dare, don't! You've no right, no right!
I love you, and this is what you do. You think I'm a fucking mug, don't you?
Talk to me like that! I won't have it, I won't!
Oh, you will. You'll listen to everything I say.
Stay away from me, John. Stay away! I don't love you. I don't love you.
You love me, you do. You do.
I don't love you, John.
Love me.
It's over. It's over. It's over. I want you to leave.
Cheap.
I want you out now. Go. Go, John. I mean it. Please go. I don't want any of this anymore. Please. Please.
Lying. Oh.
Just get out. Go.
From that point, the only valid recollection I have is myself lunging at her, my hands moved towards her neck. And then I found myself sitting on the bed. I was knackered for a while.
You knew you'd killed her?
I think so, yeah. Well, she wasn't moving, so I presumed I killed her.
It sounded like a full confession, but unknown to police, Tanner was planning to cheat justice.
Get off the car!
John Tanner was brought to trial at Birmingham Crown Court in December 1991. 7 months after his tearful confession, Tanner's composure was back. He was out to save his skin.
John Mark Tanner, you are charged with the murder of Rachel McLean. How do you plead? Are you guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
The opening was quite straightforward. John Tanner had basically admitted that he'd killed Rachel McLean. That was never in question. It was the circumstances surrounding how she died. He knew that he was going to go to jail, but it was a question of how long. If he got manslaughter on the grounds of diminished responsibility, he was probably looking at 7, 8 years and be out after 4 or 5. If he was getting life for murder, then he knew he was doing at least 15. He put on a very theatrical performance in which he tried to turn everything around to him, how he was the victim. Rachel may have been dead, but poor him, he was in the dock. His life was on the verge of being ruined as well.
Did you ever want to kill Rachel?
It would be pointless to ever want to kill the woman I loved, sir. Because I would only be hurting myself in the long run.
A person is said to have been provoked to commit a murder when he has been, as a result of something said or done by the person who died, provoked to lose his self-control so that he's no longer master of his mind.
Was it anger at the thought of your possession being lost that led you to behave like this?
I cannot ascertain that for certain, sir, although it may have had something to do with it, anger and betrayal.
Think I'm a fucking mug, don't you?
Tanner strangled her with his bare hands. Now, where things start to diverge from the classic crime passionnel is that according to the pathologist's report, he then went while Rachel lay on the floor and got a tea towel and completed the job of strangulation. It's since been proven almost conclusively that she wasn't seeing anyone else, that there was no one else on the horizon. She wasn't going to dump Tanner and replace him the next day with someone else.
It may well be that she said it to try and finally shock him into understanding that the relationship was over.
Juries are understandably reluctant to accept a claim that a person was completely overcome by passion when within a few moments he's behaving in a cold, calculating way.
You were aware throughout of what you had done, were you not?
It would be impossible for me to forget what I had done.
And if you could not forget what you had done, it must have been obvious to you throughout that what you were doing was covering your tracks.
No, sir.
He is an intelligent boy. His head is thinking, what are my options? How best can I do this? And he constructs the plan that he will just say, I left her, she was perfectly alive.
My dearest, lovely Rachel, thank you.
From the very start, there was lie after lie after lie.
I think John Tanner was a gifted actor. And I think acting was something that came easily to him.
The way he related to the fellow officers, the way he related to the reconstruction,
Hi, Helen.
the way he telephoned the friends, knowing that they were living right on top of Rachel, is, to me, purely psychopathic behaviour.
He found himself in the wrong circumstances with the wrong person at the wrong time. And that's where a sleazy, grubby, ordinary, tragic, horrible murder happened.
John Tanner blinked and nodded once as the jury foreman announced the guilty verdict. It had taken them 4 hours, the decision by a 10-2 majority. Sentencing, Mr. Justice Kennedy told Tanner, I entirely accept that she was precious to you, but this was a savage attack. And your conduct afterwards, up until the time when her body was found, did nothing to ameliorate the gravity of the offence.
Well, next tonight, it's not easy in Hollywood to fall in love. Take filtered as well as achievement. No, I'm a Celebrity on IT.